Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're jumping back down into the world of Cardano, taking a look at the recent price action of ADA, what's been going on and what we would expect to happen next under the recent price action. As I get into this video, if you find it useful, informative, maybe even entertaining at times, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell and you will not miss another live stream or video here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us down in Discord, links in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. Okay, let's get into this then. So here we have Cardano's ADA paired up with USDT. On the hourly chart, Binance is the data source. Following on from the last video I did, we were talking about a potential move up into a final fifth wave high. This was between 53.04 and 54.05. Obviously, that did not play out. We saw a complete breakdown of the space, and we can kind of see what's gone on since. So what we can do is tidy this up. We now know that this is basically just a simple three-wave structure. There's nothing more complicated to it, and it ends right up here. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove these, and then we're going to talk about the recent structure, and we'll talk about what that might look like at the moment. Okay, so here we have this really odd, strange kind of looking structure, right? We have this good move coming up, move down, move up, and so forth, right? Now, with this, we can just do a couple of quick sense checks, because I think we didn't quite have this on the 1.618, but let me just check to see. No, we didn't quite hit that. We hit 1.382, then down, then up. Okay, so that's kind of done and dusted at that point, but rather complicated structure nonetheless at the beginning, not so complicated towards the end. Okay, let's now go ahead and drill down into this and what's going on over here. Now, what we've gone on and done over this side is actually quite interesting. So for the most part, Cardano was tracking reasonably well. We were setting up ourselves with these lower highs and lower lows, and for the most part, these generally actually break to the upside, right? We don't talk about these all the time in the way that normally this is be considered something similar to a bull flag. I would have called it that, but you can call it many different things. Essentially, you have this kind of move upwards, you then have this kind of lower volume, and you set lower lows and lower highs, and then you break to the upside. Bitcoin, on the other hand, had different ideas over what was going to go on in the space, and what you actually saw was a breakdown in Bitcoin, which obviously bled out the altcoins, Ethereum, and so forth, and everything kind of took a bit of a tumble. Now, with this, we can obviously articulate this in many different ways. It looks to me like a 335 structural drop at the moment, but it could turn into something a little bit different over time. Ultimately, if I just zoom back out, we are looking for the next 5 waves down, right? So we had 3 waves coming up into this little range here. We talked about this a fair few weeks ago. Okay, this is from our lows down in August over here. And we saw 3 waves up after 5 waves coming down. We are now looking for another 5 waves as a minimum. Okay, so our range of bounce was up at 49.56 to 56.97, right? That yellow box area there. That was our expectation after coming down into this low range just down here at 40.75 to 42.43. We actually hit the highest end of that and then had the 3-wave bounce upwards. So from here, we can start to say, okay, well, we might start to expect 5 waves to come down. Now, those 5 waves might be made up of 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, or it could just be a straightforward 5-wave drop. Okay, so we have a very simple one on this side where we can see a pretty straightforward kind of drop coming down here. Okay, and it is 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, but it's quite simple in the way that it's constructed. So we're looking for something similar. Now, over this side here, we have probably what can only be described as a leading diagonal, a bunch of 3-wave structural moves, and then wave 3 taking us down here. So again, I'm going to go ahead and draw this out so we can kind of see what that looks like, but to me, it looks very straightforward. Let me go ahead and grab hold of this. To me, it looks like we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 like that. Okay, and now the reasoning for this is it looks the way that it does is that this would be our wave 3 structure point, but I do want to just do some sense checks on this. Okay, this here would have to be our wave 1, okay, this little point, and then this here would have to be the beginning of our wave 2. And you can see that this does actually then cross that 1.618. So it's valid within our 5-wave structure. So from here, if I go ahead and just neaten this up a bit and remove those kind of sub-wave counting, I think we've got leading diagonal coming in. We come in here, we go then up into wave 2. down to wave 3, up to wave 4, not crossing wave 1, looking for that little bit more down. Okay, so this would then actually take us in a little bit deeper on Cardano. For anyone who doesn't understand what I'm talking about here in terms of waves and Fibonacci-based numbers, that's your 1.618, join me down in Discord. I've got a PDF that explains Elliott wave theory. It's 181 pages, but it's 181 pages I think everybody should at least read and understand. Even if you can't implement it, it's well worth understanding the psychology behind everything that's going on within the wave structures. So if you go into our Discord server, verify yourselves, a little bit complicated, but go ahead and do that. And then go into the general chat, type the word PDF, and then that PDF will basically be presented to you via one of the bots there. And it is incredibly powerful to understand exactly what I'm talking about, because this will help you understand the structures of what's going on across different cryptocurrencies and the stock market as well, because it could be applied to many different things. So basically, this does look like we have to come down a little bit lower. So coming back into the world of Cardano here just for a second, what we've got is this low point down here. This is going to be the lowest possible range that we're probably going to be ending up heading towards and to complete this structure. Now we're having a little bit of a bounce, but we're getting these kind of undecided market at the moment. Let me go ahead and just throw a couple of price labels on here just so you guys can understand exactly kind of what we're looking for. And we are looking at this area here, basically 45.53. That's the higher end, and on the lower end of the spectrum we are talking about this one here at 44.59. Okay, that was going to be the end of our first 5-wave structure. Then we bounce up, and that bounce should be 3 waves. Okay, and then we drop down in a big, much larger kind of 5-wave structural move. Okay, now this might be 22nd of September when the Vasil hard fork comes out, sell the news, all that kind of stuff. We speak about that a fair amount, but obviously we are heading down into what I believe to be our accumulation zone, that being all the way down here. Basically between 28 and 34 cent. Okay, that's kind of what I'm aiming for. That's kind of the area that we're thinking about longer term. So we'll look for a pretty significant drop, it but wouldn't be a straight line. We look to complete this little move coming down. We look for 3 waves up. We then look for another 5 waves down, another 3 waves up, and then a final 5 waves down. So if I were to draw that out, it would look something similar to this. We'd have kind of a large kind of 5-wave drop like this, not quite getting to our accumulation point, and then bouncing up a little bit, and then finally dropping down into the final move. Where that's really badly drawn, we'll end up with that, and we'll probably end up on the higher end, more towards 30 cent than we are going to be to 28, but it'll be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. But that's kind of the expectation, 53535 and zigzag. Now obviously it really depends on how this kind of plays out. We're either going to trend down in a big 53535, or we're just going to have a zigzag and we're just going to hit that higher end. We don't know what that looks like just yet, but overall we've kind of got this 5-wave structure this side. We've got 3 up, right? We've got first 5 down, 3 up, 5 more down, 3 up, 5 more down, and essentially that takes us into this accumulation. So maybe even a bit lower, as our 1-to-1 ratio on our weekly chart comes in at 22.23 cent. So there's a lot of things to think about, but for Cardano, that's kind of my expectation. I'm looking for a little bit lower here on the smaller time frames, and then we're going to work our way up. If we take a look at the stochastics, we can see that we're oversold on the fast line on the hourly chart, but we've got a little bit more there to go. We are pretty reasonably high actually on the 4-hour chart, can come down a fair chunk there. 8 hours in a good spot. Daily is actually almost in the oversold area, so we'd look for a pretty good bounce to the upside after this corrective structure is finished, in my opinion, and then we can continue our move to the downside. Guys, I'm going to leave this video right there. If you found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell, join us down in the Discord. Links in the description below. Guys, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.